What a time to be alive, everybody. I have brought out from the grave the Minifandom podcast. Yes, the classic bit of Minifan content that I've been doing for a number of years. And joining me is the great Ted Sellers. Ted,
Hey
welcome to
there.
Minifandom.
What's going on? Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on. So, for listeners, we'll start with the taking care of business segment, a staple of Minifandom. So this is the first Minifandom since we lost Ted Sarandis. And, I just want to pay tribute to him. He was a massive supporter of Minifandom, going right back to when I recorded the show with that fuckwit Red. He's been supporting Minifandom. He would write in pages of questions for the listener question segment. So the listener question segment is a bit sparse now because Ted's not around anymore, but I just want to say, he's always in our hearts. A bit like John Stewart, I think the Minifans that we've lost will always be with us in some way. And, if there's one thing that the Minifans will do is keep the memory alive of the people we've lost because we're all nutcases. So just want to shout out, Ted, we miss you. So also, this is the first Minifandom since October 2024. So, fairly regular release schedule, once every 6 months at the moment. So it's going well. Ted, thanks for joining me. So I guess for context, listeners, I've been trying to get Ted on M&S, trying to coordinate dates, but he is just a busy man rolling around everywhere, wedding stuff, can't get him in. So he had this little window tonight. I've got a busy week at work, but I wanted to spend a bit of time with Ted and see how he's been going in the break. Last week, I believe there was some pretty heavy wedding planning action. Ted, how's that all going?
Yeah, so the wedding planning's going good. We're getting married at the end of September. Been doing there was a tasting event at the hotel that we're getting married at. And then we got things like I got to go back to Milton's at the beginning of June. Get officially fitted for the
Yep.
suits because this might shock you. I'm gonna need something custom
Mm.
for my measurements. So
Ted, would
looking.
it would it would it surprise you that I have never bought pretty much a piece of clothing off the rack that is fit properly?
So I actually, I don't know if you have a bit of kinship with me on this, but do
Mm.
you also buy normal people size jeans and then have to take them to a tailor to get them hemmed? Because
Oh,
that's what I do.
every time, yeah. I mean, I cannot buy a pair of pants without getting it altered. It's yeah.
My
As I
waist,
said, I just can't buy anything off the rack.
yeah, my waist was unfortunately Minifan normal, and then the
Yeah.
rest of me did not grow. So,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
always have to
Unfortunately, I
get
don't have
stuff done.
a good excuse. I'm just short and fat, so
Yeah, yeah,
they don't
yeah.
make many clothes for that. So, right. So, you've been to Milton's. Have you done the food testing yet?
Yeah, so we actually we have that tomorrow.
Nice.
So yeah, we're going there tomorrow. Try out different appetizers, meals, all the things like that. Might hit up the winery that's down
Yep.
the road after a little bit. Because
And how is this process going with your significant other? Like, is this bringing you guys closer together? Is it stressful? Are you getting a lot of involvement from parents? That because that's the worst thing when you get other people chiming in, and then it's like six people trying to make a decision.
well, I'm pretty blessed because Mrs. Ted is like a get things done and plan everything right away kind of person. So I just you know I don't really have any sort of hills I need to die on for the wedding.
Yep.
For the most part, whatever she wants to do, I'm in on, and I'm just making sure that I hit the deadlines that I need to hit, so that way, I don't get in the doghouse for slowing down the process at all. So,
Okay.
you know, we officially kind of finalized the guest list, which was like our last big thing.
Do you
So
want me
we'll
to shoot
probably,
you my address?
yes, absolutely.
I will send it over.
All right.
Are you asking any Minifans?
I don't think there will be any Minifans at the wedding. I mean, there will be
Wow.
people who listen to the show, but I don't think it'll be anybody who's been active in the world, unless you count
What
my
about
dad.
Justin? Justin, I mean, you and he basically lovingly embrace. You guys get quite close when you're in there.
Yeah, no, Justin is awesome. I wouldn't want to, be the reason that he gets yelled at though for, doing
Yep.
something when, the case or something like that needs to be worked on. So
Mm.
I'll be a good Minifan and I'll leave him alone for this one.
Might have been a chance for Justin to meet maybe a significant other. Weddings are a great place to meet people. That's why I was hoping to get an invite.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm debating inviting the whole Fawn squad. Shout out
Okay,
Fawns, so we'll
absolutely.
see.
I've just joined the Fonds
I saw
overnight.
that.
Very exciting.
Yeah, you've been very quiet in the chat though.
Well, I mean, I hate chats, and
Yeah,
I hate most of the people in the chat. But
really, that surprises me.
I am. I just joined. I love video games. I'm just coming off winning the World Series on MLB The Show, so I'm riding high. I'm riding high at the moment on PS5. But enough of that. It is boring to talk about big old people playing video games. Um, where did you meet your fiance?
So at work, I was friends with one of her best friends, and then we all, went out as like a group, and she was there, and we got to talking, and just kind of, built like a friendship that turned into a relationship from there. And then, yeah, just kind of grew from that, and that was 9. It'll be 9 years in August.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, so I actually earlier today she was like, "Oh wow, we're getting married in our 10th year," and I had to remind her it was 9. So
Mm.
I guess time's flying faster for some of us more than others.
Oh, that's lovely. Great to hear. And how when is the wedding? What
Uh,
rough?
yeah, it's the end of September.
Fantastic.
So yeah, look, it's coming up quick though. It seems like it was over a year away, and now we're down to like 5 months. So
Yeah, you've just got a few months left to get out there and slay some random pussy. So I reckon you, Mick, Brando need to get on the town.
I'll wingman. I'm not.
Okay. I'm
Um,
joking. I'm not trying to destroy another relationship.
we gotta have Coleman, show up late, but he'll be there.
Mm. Coleman was actually supposed to produce tonight, but he had to go and take a shower, so he couldn't
Oh,
make
all
it.
right.
So, have you had a nice break from KMS? I mean, how has the last month been for you without the show? Month and a
Uh,
bit now.
I mean, I definitely miss it. So I don't always get to watch live on YouTube. I've sent you like my schedule before
Mm.
for work, and there's like opening shifts, closing shifts, everything in between. But I love like I usually listen honestly at like 10 or 11 at night, playing some late night video games. I'll put the podcast in,
Yep.
and that'll be half like I'll listen to half while I'm up, and then the other half kind of like before I fall asleep. But I definitely miss it at that time. I'm having to like scrounge for a podcast right now. I do listen to the Bill Simmons podcast because I mean honestly nobody covers the NBA quite like him. So, but it's sad without Kirk. Like there's not much out there that really catches my ear to listen to. I listen to a lot of music otherwise.
Mm. I I love baseball, so I put on Section 10 a couple of days ago, and it was fucking god awful.
Yeah,
I got, and I like Jared, and I really like Steve Peralt, and I like the guys I do it with, but it was brutal. I got through maybe 25, 30 minutes, and I was just like, no thanks. But for my baseball fix, since KMS has been off, I've had extra time to listen to Tony Maz, who I'm a big fan of. So I've been listening to the baseball reporters. Maz is on fire to start this year. Cullinane, you piece of shit. You couldn't keep him down. You cannot cancel a good man like Tony. He's absolutely firing on all cylinders on the baseball reporters. It's great
I
stuff.
I will say that like KMS has made it so hard to just listen to another podcast without trying to listen to it through the lens of if they would play sound on the show or not of
Mm,
like certain segments. I was listening to Bill Simmons probably about a month ago near the Super Bowl or 2 months ago, whatever it was, and they were making fun of Stephen A. Smith and they were doing the Stephen A. Smith voice. And it kind of got to like, I was like, where is Cullinane when you need him to swoop in and clip this?
well, Cullinane probably was. Well, actually, send it to him and he would play it. If you send it to him, he'd definitely play it. He'd give it a go. Um, yeah. With Section 10 though, they started off by talking about their live show. So they did a live show to start the season in Boston, and it was like KMS. They started off by talking about how the sound guy didn't turn up and no one could hear them. So they had to abandon their live show after a little while and just go and mingle with everyone. And I mean, I understand Cullinane had nothing to do with it, but
Was
um,
it like major like cheeky monkey vibes?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it was Plymouth vibes as well.
Okay.
Uh, like you couldn't hear it all, but it just made me laugh. So we give shit to the producers from KMS, but it's obviously not that easy to get the sound right in these live shows. But yeah, they were pissing and moaning. But here's the difference, Ted. So they knew, like, apparently no one could hear the sound. No. Did they do anything to make it up for the fans? No, they just went sorry, and that was it. Like, at least Kirk, you could tell, felt genuinely bad about Plymouth, basically sacked Dave over it. But Jared and the guys are just having a bit of a giggle about it. So,
Something tells me Section 10 fans aren't rioting on Twitter and creating like Reddit spaces and everything like that to trash them based on the
yep,
performance
yep.
quality either.
So, how much have you been diving into the world while it's been off? So, yeah, I mean, I'll sort of start. How much have you been sort of watching the network?
I haven't watched much of the network. I do watch the producer show, and then
Yep, that's
obviously
on
I
the
ended up
network.
watching when Kirk was on later that day.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I haven't followed much of the things on the network. I did watch Blind Mike on with my guy Brando. And my guy Brando just, I don't know if he didn't actually watch the Orlando Magic streams or he was. It reminded me of like people not understanding Norm Macdonald and like whatever Blind Mike was doing, like the host just did not follow along with the bit with them, but it kind of made it funny in its own way. But
Yeah, it
other
was
than
like a
that, I did,
clusterfuck, but it was
yeah,
entertaining. But that was hilarious because Mike took it really seriously and he was really into it. And Brando had no idea what was going on, was for some reason getting upset that Mike had takes about a thing they were reviewing. It was very peculiar.
yeah, he didn't understand that Mike was like really into the managerial
Yes.
side, but he's a GM of a fake basketball team. Like it's funny, like.
Yeah, Mike was treating him like a real manager, and Brando just wanted to talk about how funny Clemmer looked on the stream with a blind person who couldn't see him. So
But he pushed Clemmer, I think, to the excellence that he ended
mm,
up achieving this past week.
yeah, I think Mike deserves a ring.
Absolutely,
Mm.
100%.
Maybe even Brando deserves a ring just for getting Mike on screen,
There is certainly an argument there.
and maybe BA deserves a ring for the trauma of being bumped at the last minute.
We all made our sacrifices to get that title. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. So you've been watching the producer show. How do you think the producers have been going in the break? Because, for example, I saw Freddie Lynn, friend of the show, friend of mine, good friend of mine, tweet out that there was discussions around behind the scenes clips from Laconia being produced, and Freddie made a good point that look, the show's been off for 5 weeks, and the producers haven't done any of that stuff. I mean, do you think they've done enough from what you've seen, Ted?
I mean, I don't know what the state of the studio is currently. Obviously, we're all kind of waiting for like the
Mm,
big reveal of what's actually physically been done in there.
mm.
Um, I'm a little surprised I didn't get reached out to on like helping find like some of the stuff that they could use for the studio. But I guess I
Why?
could have offered as well, just in like the place that I work. So I mean, Kirk said it on the show. I work at Lowe's, so
Yeah, no, but I don't know what Lowe's sells. We have Lowe's here, but I think it's different. What do you
okay. Well, it's
sell?
like the same thing that like I don't know if you know what Home Depot sells, but
Oh,
it's
yep,
like
yep.
so it's the same exact type of
Okay.
product. So it's like renovation inside outside your home.
Mm.
So could have, you know,
I would have liked you.
provided, I guess, some stuff,
Yeah,
but
I would have
I
liked.
also probably should have reached out.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen you on the building site, in the studio with a hard hat on.
I think a good thing would have been just having different minifans go in there, and even just the content of them trying to help build the studio, even for just like a couple hours, like
Yeah.
during the day. Um, that could have been, something that they cut up, and then also could have done like release some of the behind the scenes, like you said, from the live show and the stuff leading up to it. I don't know how many outtakes they have from other videos, but I think there were some pretty funny outtakes from the one that I had filmed with the guys that day. Um, but again, I don't know how, like what Kirk wants out there, you know.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I really like your idea. They should have found something to do in the studio, even if it was kind of a bullshit thing, like, oh, we've got to put a wall here, but if it doesn't go up, it doesn't matter, and just get minifans in to help and, see how fucking, retarded some minifans are at trying to do stuff and make content out of that. That would have been funny.
and it would have been a good way for them to respond to like people making fun of Justin for
Mm.
the type of nailer he was using or the type of nails, like a challenge to like, well, why don't you come in and help out? And then they could have saw who like would have signed up to actually come in and lend a hand, and then just keep the camera running during it.
Yeah, I think the producers have done a decent job in the break, but the socials haven't really been popped. And I do agree, there hasn't been a lot of sort of out of the box thinking. Like, I think doing a producer show is, I wouldn't say it's bare minimum, but it's around there. Like, it's pretty easy to just switch it on and talk about what's going on the network and stuff. But, actually going and thinking about stuff to do or making clips from live shows, that's, you need forethought and time. And I know Justin's very busy at the moment with the ice cones, and Kane's probably all in on Karen Reed at the moment, so they
I
haven't been able to
will
do it.
I will give them credit though for doing the producer show, because it's very clear that Kirk has given them no direction or desire to have them do that show. So they are, in my opinion, doing it completely on their own, which definitely deserves some credit that they're doing
Oh
a
yeah,
pretty daily show. And I'll take any KMS related
same.
things from people involved with the show. So
Oh,
I am
shut
not
up, stop
complaining.
sliding the fucking network. You're on the network, you should be watching more of the network. Turn
I
off your
guess.
fucking Bill Simmons talking about NBA, and you need to put on Kane making some dish.
I watched the first Cooking with Kane, and that was an electric factory. I did not watch any of the last ones.
Why is that ball putting up the thumbs up? Anyway, maybe I know they've got some new thing going on. Um, are you sipping Chardonnay there, by the way?
It is actually a Pinot Grigio.
Pinot
I'm not a big
Grigio.
Chardonnay fan. Yeah, a little Pinot
You like
Grigio.
a bit of white wine in the evenings?
During this time of year, yes. Spring, summer. I'm more of a red wine. The rest of the
Yep.
year, though.
Nice. Nice. Excellent. I guess just talking about, a couple of current issues in the Miniverse. Firstly, just want to clear this up. There was some, poor, John from Scranton's clearly doesn't pay attention to what's going on the network he produces, because I sent him a message days ago that I wanted to do this show live at this time. I wasn't sure whether Hot or Not was going live, but John was asleep, John was stoned, John for some reason doesn't look at a channel he produces, and there was a clash tonight with John. But I want to give Hot or Not every chance to succeed, even though it's terrible. So I graciously switched this to a pre-record.
What if
So
he
this
was in the lab preparing for tonight and didn't catch like the time part of the text though? John strikes me as somebody that is just like constantly coming up with new ideas and
He's not. He's a
no.
he's so scattered. It's unbelievable. I love the guy, but he's all over the place. So I would bet he does not subscribe to the Minifan Network channel, because what you do is you just, like, if I set up a show a few days ago, it comes up on YouTube so everyone can see it. And then John could go, oh, Menez wants to go live at 8 on Tuesday. Maybe we'll do Hot or Not at 9. Maybe we'll do it at 7. Maybe I'll reach out to Menez and ask him if he can do his show another time, but he was half asleep. And I also had another thing, Ted, and look, you're in the entertainment business, so you'd be well aware of this, but there is something called copyright infringement. And John thought it would be okay to use the music from White Lotus for Brando's theme. Now, That's great, but Spotify now and YouTube eventually will start flagging every Brando show because it's used the music from the biggest TV show in the world at the moment. So, John's like, "Oh, you can just take the intro out." I'm like, why don't you just make a fucking intro with copyright-free music like a normal producer would? So
And this is
that's
not
what.
my question. I'm about to ask is not a slight
Mm.
on Brando, but do you need like a certain number of views before they start going after you, or does like just finding it on the internet suffice?
Well, now I think they just use all AI to scan through it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brando's girlfriend's actually dobbed him in just to try and torpedo his show. So
It's
could be an
possible.
inside job. Could be an inside job. Maybe Nurse Kim, revenge, ultimate move, like it. Um, so that's the status of Brando's show at the moment. I'm not going to release it on a podcast feed. I'm not going to every episode of his, chop off the intro, re-export it just because John can't use copyright-free music. John can redo the intro with copyright-free music anytime he wants. And I've had this problem with John before. I got him to do an intro for me for something, and he put this great Australian band song on it. And I'm like, this is great, but we
Men at
can't use
work.
it. No, it was Jet. Do you know Jet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, anyway. So that's but other issues. I want to. I think you're the perfect person to weigh in on this. Like, my friend Kane has been taking a bit of heat. Now, he made a joke I wouldn't have made to Drew on Twitter yesterday about his child. I thought it was in poor taste, but in the context of Kane being pushed and needled and everything about him being made fun of, girlfriend, ex-wife, Kane's kids being used as photos in group chats, he just was pushed too far, and he said a comment about Drew's kid to Drew that was over the line. But Drew had said the wrong, and he used Kane's last name in the tweet, so he was doxing him. Drew Band, who's allegedly this great guy, was doxing Kane, and so Kane comes back with an off-color comment. Now, you're the perfect person. You're in a wheelchair.
I
You're a
am.
comedian. You're a comedian. What's your take on it?
So I don't find anything like that offensive personally.
Yep.
But I try to remember that not everybody is like me in how I view jokes or how I can shrug things off. I chose to make those jokes publicly. So if he were to say something like that to me, it literally would have been like a no big deal thing. But there is a difference between Kane being publicly involved with the show and putting himself out there. I don't feel as bad when people's like real identities are spoken if they choose to go multiple times onto a very public
Mm,
platform,
mm,
because we live in a world today that's going to be found out. I know not everybody can use their real names from day one like I chose to, but it's
yep.
just part of it. So if you don't want that to happen, I would say don't go on the shows. So there is, in my opinion, slightly different between what Kane went through and then what he decided to say about somebody who's not publicly involved to that and about their kid. So, I would say he technically did the worst thing in the feud, but at the same time, if you're going to be an online troll, some stuff might come out about you too, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I said. I think Kane, it was a regrettable joke, but he was only trying to make a stupid comment to Drew. And I don't think you can act all innocent if you're Drew Band. You give shit to people all the time. Kane definitely went too far. I said I wouldn't have gone that way and said that about Drew's kid, but it
I mean,
was
it was
just not.
definitely, and I've been on Kane's show. I've had good
Mm,
interactions anytime I talk to Kane, but it was a total asshole move to do.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
definitely different for him saying the asshole thing to Kane about his brother when he publicly has mentioned his brother on the show.
yeah.
Like, don't bring that stuff up if you don't want people to make either burner accounts, fake callers about it.
Mm.
You just got to be aware of that.
But I also, all the people pushing Kane have got to take some responsibility for it. If you push someone to get a reaction and you get a reaction you don't like, then bad luck. And I also think it's peculiar, Ted, and this is where I think maybe the break has been bad for the Minifans. But on the other hand, I thought the overreaction of the Minifans was pretty disappointing because, like, Kirk has made some pretty off-color jokes in the history of KMS, and I'm not comparing them, and I'm not saying Kirk would make that joke, but he's made some jokes definitely in the same realm as what Kane said about people's kids. Maybe he said even worse things about people's kids. So I think for them to overreact and start clutching their pearls and their handbags and getting all upset, it was a bit rich for me. I mean, grow up, everybody. Like, Kane made a bad joke. It was over the line, but that's the Minifan world. If you're going to spend your whole time skirting the line in this world, every now and then something's going to slip over.
But they know the reaction that they'll get back is what they're really after. I mean, at least in my opinion. So
yeah,
I think they just want to keep poking them.
definitely they do. So we had the Kane drama. I mean, you mentioned Kirk's producer show. I mean, that was a KMS show. That was amazing. That was like a bit of a shining light in the darkness of this break. And the fact that he did like 2.5 hours with Mutt and those guys, tell the broad to stop it, would you? No, I'm joking. So yeah, it was. I thought it was a great show, and it made me realize, despite what everything Kirk says, he loves the show more than he lets on.
Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously wouldn't do something that he doesn't like doing. So I'm personally looking forward to it being back. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he just knows contractually he's going to get back to it. But I do think he gets enjoyment. You can tell when he's having fun during a show too. I don't think he loves every show in hindsight. Like as soon as it's done, I think some he definitely feels like it's a slog to get through, depending on the day. But when he's actually in the studio and you get that feeling like he does not want to leave or cut it short, and really let like a bit kind of breathe, I think that's when KMS is the most enjoyable for me. I mean, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I do lots of podcasts with people, and I know, like, certain people I podcast with, it's really easy. You just get in there and you just, have a great time. And other times it's, a bit more work for the host or the star of the show in my case. And so I can sort of see why Kirk might feel that. Like, he has such a rotating cast of third chairs. Obviously, when he goes in there with Mike, and it's fantastic and it's easy. But then when there's, like, I don't know, Pat Ford in there or something, he's like, fuck, all right, I've really got to slog this out for the next few hours. I can imagine it's a bit different for him. What are your experiences in there shooting the shit with the big guy?
I think I can tell like when he's actually enjoying like how the episode's going when I'm in there, versus other times that I've been in there. So like the one that me and Mike did when Justin, the first one was when we discovered the grandmother thing.
Oh yeah.
Like you can just tell like it just kept evolving, and at one point Mike said, "Well, that answer is not going to get us out of here, Justin."
You were amazing in that episode, Ted. And I just want to say those gambling chat people have never been more wrong about anything. You have an adorable laugh. You bring energy. You bring enthusiasm. You just cackling away during that whole segment. Like you just interjected with the odd line, but you just pissing yourself while Mike and Kirk were going at Justin made that segment so much better.
I just like having a good time, and I like trading jokes with everybody. Yeah. And
fuck those guys in the gambling chat. Stick this up your rear.
Well, a lot of them are my new brethren in the fun, so okay. I think we're on good terms. But
take it out of your rear.
But then the next time that I was in with Mike with the whole massage thing that Justin went to. I guess I'm just trying to say, like, I really like being in there when Mike's in there. I also like the episode that I did with Mutt. I don't know. I guess it all depends. But I loved, like, when I was in there with Mayo, dude. Like, I thought him doing the Price is Right game. And in the first, like, beginning of the episode, I could tell, like, we were all just kind of, like, he showed up with a Stormtrooper helmet, and we were just kind of like, where is this going to go today? And then he starts pulling out Price is Right stuff. Like, you can't get another podcast where this person shows up with a Stormtrooper helmet, and then we play the Price is Right with the items that are in it. So I guess it just all depends on the episode. But I like when you can tell that, like, Kirk is actually having a good time and is fully embracing what's happening.
Yeah. You're actually, quite an easy person to book for the third chairs because, you get your roster for work a month ahead. You've sent it to me a few times when I was the excellent third chair booker for a while there. It's very easy. You had your availability. And so I hope the producers are looking to lock you in for later this month.
Yeah, I'll be in later this month. I talked to Justin recently, so
Great.
we're good to go there.
Who are some of your favorite third chairs apart from Mike?
Mike, Mutt. I love Montante in there.
Mm. I got a
The
Montante story for you, actually. So
Yeah, I'm
last night
ready.
we were on a Spaces. It was midnight US time. I think Jackson started the space. There was only a few of us, and then Montante pops in, and it's midnight, and he's usually passed out drunk by this stage. So I was like, oh, and I said in the Spaces, I said, I reckon Montante's just post wank, like he's just had a wank. He's got his phone in his hand because he's been watching Pornhub, and he's gone to Twitter and he's seen this and just jumped in. I bet you he's like covered in semen right now. And he goes and he admitted it. I busted him. He was like, "Man has nailed it." I mean, and we got sort of a post-coital Montante. He was, relaxed, in a good mood.
He's a Democrat now.
Yes, yes. And so, post jerk off Montante, he's a different person. The anger's gone. Like, I'm starting to see why he jerks off 4 times a day because it makes a big difference to his personality.
Well, if the Montante we see is after jerking off 4 times a day,
Yeah.
like imagine him if he tried to do like No Nut November or something along those lines. Like I can see why people shoot up places.
Yes. Yeah. Like, Democrat rally would just be a
Yeah,
war
like you
zone.
just smoke them all.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got Montante last night, but I agree. I love when Montante's in there. And if I'm being honest, I don't think the producers have made enough of an effort to get him in regularly. Like, I think Montante should be, minimum once a month, maybe twice a month. You sprinkle in a bit of Ted Sellers, you've got your Blind Mike, you got your Canes, you've got your staples. Like, I think it's,
I mean,
the
to
way
be
to go.
fair to them though, I'm pretty sure if Montante said like I can come up, let you good.
Go on.
I'm sorry, you looked like a little sneezing koala there.
All right, but what's a sneezing koala?
I was just saying that to be fair to the producers, I'm pretty sure if Montante said like I could be up there next week, they would find a way to get him on. I imagine coming up from Jersey and having to like spend the night. I mean, I guess
Yep.
Justin's would be like where he would stay, but that's probably the reason why he doesn't come on as much.
Yeah, yeah, obviously, and
And
Justin would be
most
happy to have
times
him.
that Justin drives me to the studio, Montante is already texting him, and it's like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, Montante's an early riser. That's why I knew something was weird the other night when it was midnight. Um, yeah, I'm a big Montante guy. I'd like to see a little bit more of John and Warren in there. I know he tries to fit it in his work day, which is problematic. So that's why he had to cancel last minute. But I think John and Warren's a glue guy. Cinema's a glue guy. They've built up a nice staple of people, and I like it when they lean on the staples, Mama Kay, those type of people, and then just bring in. You want to bring in the odd person, but I don't think you want too much of that.
Yeah, I think like once every other week or something like that, trying
Mm.
something like completely new is good. I think even like a Bish, like they have their magical moments too. His one liner about the Parker brothers
Mm.
was fantastic, and asking that one question but having an entire notebook in front of him was
Mm.
also a great moment. I guess I dislike any part of the show, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Are you a
The
Mayo
parts that just be
guy?
like, oh, let's not do it again. I do. So Tim and Can summed it up perfectly. I don't know if he like posted on Twitter or if he said it when he was calling into the show one time, but you need Mayo about once a quarter or once a half year to just cleanse the KMS world palette. Like you need
Mm.
a Mayo episode to do that.
It's like a colonic cleaning or something.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know if it's the fact that he's just one of those psychotic like HR related people, but You just need like an agent like that just to go in and just kind of cleanse everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you a Mayo guy?
Oh, a big Mayo guy, although he's insufferable. And look, I know you organize stand-up comedy nights, and if you want me to get an in with Mayo for you, like I can potentially book Mayo for you if you want, Putnam's finest, Putnam's local star, if you want Putnam's, award-winning comedian involved in one of your nights, I
I
could potentially make
imagine
that happen.
I imagine though it's like trying to get like one of the mainstays of like Vegas away from
Yep,
Vegas. Like you lose the magic. Like he needs to be in Putnam. That crowd loved him from what
yep.
Justin played on the show. I
I
just
guess how
I
big's your
wouldn't want to
budget
take
as well?
that.
How big's your budget as well? Because I mean, let's talk
Well, I don't
numbers.
know if I can get him. I mean, I know what he charges for these like BS classes that like he
Mm,
does.
they're not
Trying to
BS.
teach. Oh no, definitely not. Yeah, pass the ball and everything like that. Very therapeutic.
Don't make fun of Mayo or his job. Leadership development is very important if you
You're
want
right.
your business to succeed. I'm sure at Lowe's they've made you do some shitty leadership courses.
I like. Does he allow people? Because like I'm in a leadership position. Would he allow me to take one of his classes?
Yeah, it's literally for people like you.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I might look into this.
they're very good actually. I make fun of him, but
Did
he's
you
very
take
good at
one?
what he does. Well, I mean, I take one, every week when I have to suffer through his podcast.
That's true.
But yeah, look, so if you want him booked on one of your stand-up nights, let me know. I'll make it happen. I want a piece of the pie. Nothing's for free these days, but that's the price you pay when you get a talent like him.
It's true.
And,
Just think
and
of the ticket sales. I'd have
mm,
like the entire town of Putnam there.
yep. And I did see you. Have you done that night yet that you were advertising?
It's actually this Saturday.
Plug it.
So tickets are it's at my pinned tweet right now on Twitter, which you can find me Ted Sellers 11. And it was very nice of Kirk and some of the guys that retweeted the other day. So still have some tickets on sale, but we always sell this room out. This is probably my 10th time at this place in particular,
Yep.
where I booked the show and the comedians and everything, and we've never not sold it out. So hoping to have another sellout as we head into Saturday. And
Fantastic.
one of the guys that's the guy that's headlining, Don Zolo, he recently just moved back to the Boston area. And he was actually the headliner at the famous Nick's Comedy Stop this past Saturday. So he
Where's
will be
that?
So it's in downtown Boston.
Great.
Yeah, but it's one of the local, hot spots for comedy every weekend in Boston. So
And do you MC?
I do. Yep. So
Fantastic.
I'll go up. I'll do my stuff in the beginning, and then sprinkle some jokes in as I bring, each comedian up, and as we get ready for the headliner. So.
Oh, great. I mean, if I was in the area, I would definitely be there. You Minifans, go and support it. Ted, I'm going to open up my heart to you now.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you imagine how painful it is for me? All these things that happen that I can't go to.
I can. Yeah. No, I mean, the FOMO that you must feel. I hated that work had a thing that came up, and even though I had tickets, I couldn't go to Laconia. I had an idea about some of the stuff that was happening just from filming some stuff before, but seeing all the clips online that night and just some of the shows that I've missed, I can't imagine having it not be on the table to even think about going.
But it's not even the live shows. I mean, they're obviously the signature moments you really miss, but just every shitty little thing that people go to, I would go to. Like, if I would go to a Dua Lipa concert by myself, I would go to everything, whether it was Mutt's thing at the casino, just every little Minifan thing I would be at. And like Saturday night, I would be at your comedy, 100%, or, I'd probably take a date because I'm slaying it at the moment, but I would
Right.
be there.
How's that going? I heard 2 dates recently.
Yeah, 2 hinge dates on the weekend. One was a winner, and you might have heard this, you might have not, but she's African. She's from Zimbabwe, so she's and I've never had an
Really?
African partner before. She's been in Australia a long time. She's not
Okay.
so But she's, very, very attractive woman.
Did
Very
you hit her
attractive.
with Jumbo, like when you guys like first met, or to
With
break the
sorry, with
ice?
what?
Jumbo.
What's
That's
that?
like hello.
No, she's from Zimbabwe. Is that hello in Zimbabwean?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
know it's some sort of African.
Yeah, that could go horribly wrong if you just say some African word to an African woman. She's like, "Why are you talking to me in Kenyan or
Yeah,
something?"
exactly. You're like,
Not from
it's one of
not from
them.
Gambia. I'm not asking for money. So yeah, so no, look, it's been going really well. Truth be told, I'm really loving my independent single life. I was, married for 20 plus years. I'm having a second chance at life. I mean, this is a great story. My kids are old enough where the divorce hasn't been too traumatic on them, and I can now reclaim my life. I mean, video games, going to sport, going to Dua Lipa by myself, just not having, like last night, it's the simple things, Ted. I left a couple of dishes in the sink, you know, pre-divorce, the missus, what the fuck are you doing leaving shit
Right.
out? I don't want to come down every morning to your shit. And now just leave them there. No one's whinging in the morning. No one's complaining. It is so good. So what I'm saying is I don't want to give this up. Like she has to be pretty special, like I need
Is there
I
going to
need
be
to.
a second date with the Zimbabwean?
So the Zimbabwe, that was a second date, and she's
Okay.
super keen. She gave me the 20 questions before she let me in her box, kind of thing.
Okay.
So yes, she's like keen for a third date. This is gonna happen. Like I'm gonna mark this off. Like I'm gonna do something I've never done before. It's exciting.
That's great. I'm happy for you, man.
Yep. And then I
There's
had an
something that is just great to hear that you are so happy coming from home from the solo Dua Lipa concert, taking a look at a sink full of dirty dishes and saying, you know what? Not tonight.
not
And that's
tonight.
my choice.
And turn on the PS5 and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
sit there and look at
You
it.
know what? Pour one more beer that you can pridefully drink as you're getting ready to play some, MLB The Show. And
I
then you're
don't
like,
drink it.
I'm going to use a glass, and that glass is going to be the top of my dirty dish mountain. And I'm going to go to bed.
I'm gonna piss in this fucking
Yeah,
glass.
yeah, you know what? You like
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna take a dump right here. Yeah, I'm gonna take a dump right in there. Fuck you, woman. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sitting
yeah.
on the floor.
And then you forgot the Zimbabwean was sleeping over.
Yeah,
And,
my daughter's like there staring at me. What are you doing, Dad? Well, yeah, fuck your mother. Um, yeah, so
Dua
yeah,
Lipa just blaring in the background.
I gotta say, I gotta say, I really appreciated Dave and Justin's support tonight about the solo Dua Lipa outing. I mean, is it?
They're good guys. They want their
Yeah,
dogs to eat, They
is it?
like knowing their dogs are eating.
And is it unsurprising that Justin has been to Blink many times by himself?
No, not at all. I actually knew that too.
Yeah.
I I could see like doing the movie thing by myself, but it's hard for me because like I usually need to rely on somebody else for
Yeah,
transportation. So I guess
absolutely.
like I would never know if like the extent of things I would do by myself. But I could see like doing like a movie, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Every now and then, like sitting at a bar by yourself, especially if you're gonna meet somebody like an hour later, but having that like first hour where you can just kind of sit there, or if you were at lunch and then like your friend left you, and then didn't return for like 2 hours, that's also
Left you
pretty
like a long way
therapeutic.
from your wheelchair and
Yeah,
on a high stool that you can't get
who's to
off of.
say? Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Jack will be producing M&S one time before Kirk gets back. Yeah, I had a great time at the Dua Lipa concert, and I really appreciate Justin and Dave sticking up for me. It's not a weird thing to do.
Do you
I
have like
actually feel
actual favorite songs by her?
I love her. I like
Really?
love her music, and actually, look, I'm surprised that people think it's funny I like Dua Lipa because the Minifans aren't the first people to say that. Like even this African girl, she was like, "You like Dua Lipa's music? Like, aren't they sort of for your kids?" And I'm like, I mean, she's a great singer. Anyway. Look, I don't need to go into it. She's also super hot, and as they pointed out, I've been on the Dua Lipa bandwagon for a long, long time, and John Stewart used to tweet out pictures of her butt like daily and tag me, John from Scranton, and Visionless Dave. So R.I.P. John. I leered at her butt a couple of times just for John.
Well, there you go. In tribute.
Yeah, absolutely.
A tasteful tribute.
Yeah. And also Dave Cullinane made some comments today. He was upset I didn't thank him for defending me with Brando. I would like to point out that although Dave was defending me, he also questioned my leadership. But I do appreciate Dave's support throughout the break of KMS. He's been very supportive of all the stuff on the network. And, it really feels like, the wheel has turned and the network's never been stronger. Justin and Dave are locked in. It's certainly kept some vibe going throughout the break. I mean, Ted, normally I sort of, out of respect to Kirk, might sort of shelve a lot of stuff because it must be annoying for Kirk seeing it all going on and he's on a break. But I felt this time with the break being longer and him still doing stuff, it will kind of be okay for us to sort of, sort of do our thing in the background and, destroy Brando's relationship, make Kane miserable. I mean, these are all noble pursuits.
Well, you got to keep the Twitter sphere tweeting,
I mean, this isn't a personal question, but obviously you get a lot of women leering at you on shows and YouTube chats.
Right.
Has this ever caused a fracture with you and your fiance? Has she ever, told some bitch to stop,
no,
flirting with you?
No, I can't ever recall.
There you go.
And there's probably thousands of examples that come to mind, but no, I mean, she's happy that, I'm involved with something
that's a healthy, secure relationship. That's healthy, secure relationship. And
you know why? Because when I gave her the engagement ring, it also came with a handicap parking pass.
Yeah.
And like, you don't get to give that out to everybody. So
no, definitely not. She must love it.
Great parking, free seat upgrades.
I guess as well, like women love humor and disabled parking passes. So
top two right there.
Top two. You nailed them both.
Not even in that order, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up around the break? Anything on your mind, KMS related? Any thoughts about what to any thoughts about what to expect when we get back, and any other thoughts?
I think we're going to get some follow-up on the current state of Justin as far as what happened with the case. So it seems like there was obviously the recent case trip that Dave and Kirk went on and Justin stayed behind. Now, Mikey Grabbags, I saw him tweet a couple days ago, and he had a funny line where he said that he used that same line of, well, if you want me to go, I'll go, on his wife, and it got met with the same result. I can attest that has never worked. Like, you get caught in this weird limbo of, if you do go, the whole time, like, it's now a miserable thing that you're now doing together because you kind of weirdly made it known you don't want to do it. And then if you don't go, it would have been better if you just kept your mouth shut and went. So that's exactly like what Justin did in that situation. I don't know how you viewed it.
I agree with you. I actually, I've thought about this a lot because I really care about Justin and the show, and I think it might be time for Justin to put that snow cone job on ice. I think it has worked well.
You're so proud of yourself right now.
It has worked well for a while, trying to do both. But, and I said this on M&S, inevitably it was going to clash at some point. It was always going to happen. And I think Justin needs to show, okay, I really love KMS. This is what I'm going to do. I can't imagine Justin needs that money everywhere, that money so badly. But and I'm not trying to criticize. But, it's clear to me when Justin's been working all weekend. He's flatter on Monday. He has less idea what's been going on. It's the same as in football season. When he goes to the Pats on a Sunday and drinks, 50 beers, he's not the same on the Monday or Tuesday. It takes him, and it's I think he needs his weekends to regenerate, refresh, and be there on Monday morning, 110% ready to go for Kirk.
Do you think this is all just like a hangover from the leading up to the Laconia thing when he went to the casino? Like it's just Kirk like
I think
finding
that's
things
I think they're
that are
totally different things.
yeah, okay.
I'm fine with him having a social
Oh,
life. In fact,
I mean I don't care. I mean I
yeah,
like Justin, but
I
I'm
love
just trying
Justin.
to view it from like the Kirk
Mm,
boss lens.
absolutely. Yeah, I just think he needs. Yeah, I just think he needs to maybe now go. Oh, this isn't going to work for much longer, and tell his snow cone boss that it is all over. All
He
right.
might have been caught too with a telling his boss like 5 weeks ago, like, "Hey, you got me for the next 6 weekends," so they like penciled him in as coverage. And then like the week of, he would have had to flake, which is probably why he was like, "Do you really need me?"
Yeah.
Because
So
like you don't want to like flake on a
yeah,
commitment that you made,
yeah.
regardless.
And we've both done shift work, managed shift work. There's nothing worse than when you get a last minute call from someone saying they can't do a shift they've been rostered onto for a while, and that's what I think caught Kirk caught was the worry in Justin's eye. Not that he didn't want to go with
Mm-hmm.
Dave and Kirk. In fact, he probably did prefer to do that. That would have been fun. But it was I have to call my other boss and tell him to find someone else at the last minute.
Right.
He's a people pleaser.
Yeah, and he was probably under the impression like he took Kirk at his word when he basically said Dave's going to be more on the case and you're not.
Yeah, yeah. Are you an unnamed show guy? Do you watch
I
that
am.
every week? Yeah,
I watch it every week. Especially now when like that's the only Kirk content we're really
yeah.
exclusively getting right now. But no, I like those guys. Whitney's hilarious. And then I've been a Barstool guy since the beginning, so obviously I'll watch if those three are on. And then I went and met Elio a couple weeks ago, which was pretty cool, Mr. Ice.
Any goss?
No, I mean he's very aware of like the Minifan world. He listens sometimes. I don't think he's
Yep.
like a regular listener, but he definitely knows who like people on the show are. Um, I was hoping that Kirk like the worlds would collide, and Kirk and Mutt would go to IceCon. I think my dad and I are interested in going to IceCon next year. So we'll see, but that would have been great if Mutt and Kirk went this year.
Yeah, yeah. How many of your family are you going to take?
I don't want to compete with the Whitneys.
Yep.
Not going to turn it into like it's a seller's con. It's Ice Con. That's why you're going. So respect.
So it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the unnamed show. I mean, Portnoy's hilarious. He's now just this grumpy old dude. There was a video of like Rico getting acupuncture that I saw yesterday during work day, and Dave just standing over him, like giving him shit while he was having needles pointed in his neck. Like, I can see why Portnoy and Kirk now get on so well, because they have that same type of evil, like you know what I mean, like content
Yes.
evil, not real evil.
Yeah, I mean just the surviving thing, like the bad guy that Portnoy played, but he played it so perfectly. You have to respect it.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, look, let's a couple more segments left on Minifandom. We now have the newly dubbed Ted Sarandis Memorial Listener Questions segment. As I said at the top of the show, Ted would always submit pages of questions to talk about, and wish he was here to do it still, especially with some of these questions that we've got. And we don't have many. We've only got a couple. This is from Ray. Ted, has the old lady been giving you some nice blowjobs lately?
Yeah. I mean, every now and then, not as often when you first start dating, but not opposed to it.
Yeah, well, post September, that's going to rapidly decrease.
Yeah, I got to get them all in before September.
Yeah, it's actually on the marriage certificate. Like, there's a little clause, like when the man signs it, there's a bit that says your wife no longer has to put a penis in her mouth. Your penis in her mouth. So
I'll have to cash in and make a wish around anniversary time, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's it. Birthdays. If you like them. Yeah. Another question from BA. Can you ask Ted how the Fonz has affected his life?
I thought I knew what community was, and then I joined my brethren at the Fonz. And I got to tell you, since the moment I was added to that chat, people reaching out like, "Hey, how's your player development doing? Tour dates are at this time. We got a group going off at 9 p.m. tonight if you want to join." Just a great community over there at the Fonz.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'm excited for you that you
I,
get to see. Commissioner Sneaks has got it rolling, and we're Fonz is thriving right now.
yeah, I had what alcoholics call a moment of clarity, and I was, just sitting around yesterday and looking at the Fonz and looking at my PlayStation 5. And, I love video games, playing a lot of MLB The Show, playing NHL at the moment. I was thinking, why aren't I in the Fonz? I love video games. I love the Minifans. Why have I resisted joining? And it was only because I didn't have PGA 2K at the time. And I was really loving the games I was on. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to live a little. I'm going to throw myself into the Fonz. I'm going to embrace the Minifans. And yeah, so I'm in. PGA 2K is arriving today. And I'm looking forward to creating my golfer. So,
And it has nothing to do with the current feeling, like the atmosphere around you in the Twitter space.
no. Do you
No,
think any of that affects me in any way?
I'm just trying to be transparent. I'm just making sure because we want people committed to the Fonz and the Fonz.
No, and also I was, at the end of my World Series run on MLB The Show, and I thought, well, after the playoffs, need to have a break from baseball. It was a big win. So anyway, thank you, BA, for the message. You got your.
Are you going to create a new show called Minifandom?
It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. We should have a Fonz weekly wrap up show.
Yeah, just like a quick hit, even like.
Yeah, like 15 minutes, what's been happening. Sneakers can jump on and tell you who's been fired or reinstated that week. And I will Sneakers is a friend, but anyone who thinks the network has drama, Fonz drama is time 10x it. What we need is Kane in Fonz to really push that over the edge.
Yikes. I don't know if Kane's ready for that.
All right, and this is not a question, but I'll read it out anyway. It's sort of a question. This is from Toad. Do you have to watch this garbage to be a KMS fan? I think your interviews are dreadful and the worst content you release.
That's somebody that watches, though.
Yep.
Can't know they're terrible unless you watch.
And Minifandom is not a straight interview show. It's kind of discussion between two fans of the show. It's a free-flowing, relaxed vibe here.
We cried.
We cried. I opened my heart up to you, Ted.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just want you to know, you ever need any advice, marriage-wise? Obviously, I was married for a long time. I know lots of things you should do. I know some things you shouldn't do. But you ever need anything, you reach out.
Well, if my goal is in 20 years to be going to Dua Lipa concerts by myself, Menners, I know you'll steer me on the right path.
I'm your man. I am your fucking man. No one does a concert better by themselves than me.
Now, what? I got some questions about the Dua Lipa concert.
All right.
So, one, how good were your tickets? Did you buy like 300 level, or what kind of a place was it at?
Okay, so it was in a small indoor venue, and as I said, it was a last-minute ticket. Last-minute ticket became available, so it was sort of about 6 rows back on the side. So I had the most amazing view of her butt.
Okay. Did you?
So I was very close and on the side.
Did you drive there?
Yes, it's like a 20-minute drive.
Okay. Did you have any beverages?
I don't drink. I might have had a gummy.
Okay, because I was going to say, you soberly just sat through this concert.
No. I wasn't sober. I noshed a medible before I went in.
All right, fair enough. And
I will say,
awkward around people that knew you were there by yourself, or
no? Why would I feel awkward?
Did you sing the songs out loud?
I was going off.
Did you make friends?
No, I did actually like right near me was this guy who was probably like 20 years older than me,
Yeah.
and just like reading, so like reading a book the whole before the concert by himself. And I was like, see, there's a guy who goes to concerts by himself. And also Dua Lipa's broken through in that it wasn't all 16-year-old girls screaming. I mean, there was a lot of people my age there. It's just, she is such a popular singer in the gym. It wasn't like I was there just surrounded by 16-year-old girls feeling awkward.
Okay.
I am surprised how insecure people like you are. I mean, you're different
I'm
because
not insecure.
no, I'm just the
curious.
fact that most people think it's such a weird thing. Like I love going to a movie by myself after work, finish work, see if there's a movie down the road, like Rob Bradford does all the time. Just go in, catch a bit of movie. Like you don't need people.
But would
with
you go see a movie geared towards a teenage girl by yourself? I think that's like the difference. Like
Yes,
we're not talking. We're not talking.
if I went to see
like
Bridget Jones' Diary by myself, that would be bizarre.
Right.
But
I
don't
guess
think
if you
Dua
mulch a
Lipa's
dummy, you're good.
and Dua Lipa's not aimed at fucking 16-year-old girls.
No, as long as you had a good time, Manners, that's all that matters.
Yep. Thanks though for your support. I had honestly though, it was the combination of obviously how good the concert was and the fact that it just came up last minute, was like the perfect combo, like for just having a good time. All right, so we end every Minifandom with the tribute to Red's dead parents, which is what have you been watching? And I'll go first with what I've been watching. So I finished 1923 last night. Incredible show, incredible ending. I got to say, I got really emotional. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I had a incredibly heavy heart at the end of that show. And, people might think I'm this evil person, but boy, it weighed heavy on my heart. Are you a 1923 guy?
I have not watched it. I have no experience with that show. What's it on?
It's on Paramount Plus here. Do you like Westerns?
See, I was one of those people that watched the first couple seasons of that Kevin Costner one there, Yellowstone, and then it just got so unbelievable, and it, as Kirk would say, became TV for retarded people. So I kind of fell out of it. But I'm not opposed to Westerns now.
Well, 1923's, I haven't seen Yellowstone, but it's, from what I've heard, it's totally different. It's set obviously in 1923 with a whole different cast, and it's just 2 seasons. If you love Westerns, it's very good, and highly recommend it. Harrison Ford's amazing. Helen Mirren, just got to say, like, when a show ends and it just emotionally affects you for a while, like, the ending of MASH or Cheers or the Wonder Years. Breaking Bad, I'm not sure, affected me emotionally. So yeah. Any shows you've been watching at the moment? I've got a couple more, but
so I fell behind on White Lotus. I started it way later than everybody, so I'm on the season finale of season 2 right now.
Yeah,
that I'm actually going to watch right after this.
Great.
Finish that tonight. I like the show. I don't think I've ever
heard
watched.
I've heard season 3 is a bit disappointing.
See, it depends on like who you follow, I guess, because like people that liked it are hating on people that hated it. So I'm interested to get to season 3 to obviously form my own opinion on it. I think I like season 2 more than season 1 overall.
Did that fuckhead Kirk Minahan spoil season 1 for you, like he did for a few people?
I'm sure he did, but I wasn't watching it at the time, so like getting a spoiler for like nothing that.
Yeah, like if you're not watching it, then you don't have the context for
it doesn't
for it
really
to go
register to me. But
was it Jennifer Coolidge? Was she the lead in season 1? Was that the female?
She was one of them. So they revolve around like 8 main people.
Yeah, I've
and
seen
she's one of the 8.
Yeah. So Kirk spoiled that she died. Remember when she fell off the boat or something in season 1? Spoiler alert.
She didn't though.
Anyway, whatever Kirk spoiled something. I just remember Alex Daddario is super hot. Like she's just crazy hot. Okay, so you're watching season 2 White Lotus. Anything else?
I watched the Karen Reed HBO Max documentary. So I was
Okay.
one of the few only people, probably in Massachusetts, that did not care about anything Karen Reed related. It was
Yeah.
an instant tune out to me. But yeah, terrible that she would agree to do that because she did not come away looking good.
I was
But
actually just thinking this morning, I'm going to watch that.
you should. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. If you
Is it
don't
called A
know,
Body in the Snow? Is that what it's
yes,
called?
yep.
So I've got to find where it's
So
shown here.
there's 5 episodes, I believe, and they're all like 45 minutes long. So something that you can kind of like binge on an afternoon or evening, whatever. But other than that, I haven't been watching a whole lot of stuff.
Nice. So I finished 1923. I went to the movies and saw a French film called The Count of Monte Cristo, obviously based on that um, the famous French book. But that was an incredible movie. About 2 hours and 40 minutes. It was a long one, but real epic. It had subtitles though, so a lot of Minifans won't be able to go. Um,
I
also,
am sorry to jump
no,
in, but I got one more thing that I'm excited for that's coming out. At the end of this month in IMAX, they're releasing Pink Floyd at Pompeii. It's the 1972 film that's being remastered in 4K
yeah,
in
right.
IMAX. That's coming out. They're doing like a 1 week release of it.
You big Pink Floyd guy?
Yeah, they're my favorite band.
Wow,
So
I like some of their music. Absolutely. No, I don't think I'm quite in. Like, yeah, they're a bit much for me, but they're very good. I'm excited about Andor season 2 coming out at the end of the month. If you're a Star Wars fan,
I am
also
not.
I've also started watching Tulsa King on Paramount Plus season 2 with Sly Stallone. That's a fun show. And now I'm going to watch Mobland with. I mean, this is a great. I mean, it's got Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy.
Oh,
I
there
don't
you
think
go.
don't think you can go wrong. Um, all right, Ted. Well, thanks for joining me on Minifandom in the break. It's
Absolutely.
been great to catch up with you. Fuck those guys in the gambling chat. You have the most adorable laugh. I didn't do the best job in bringing it out enough, but I'll work on it.
All right, and just I think I laughed less because I didn't want you to record it and make that teddy bear thing that you had threatened. So
Do you want to go partnership on this?
give me your business plan and like your 30, 60, 90 day plan for the business and let me know.
Okay. Well, I think we go to China. We find a manufacturer. All I need you is to record a few, Tedisms, um, and look, no one can ever have enough money. So, I mean, this could change your life.
I'll highly consider it. How about that?
Good. All right. Well, look, and I think we go for like a hybrid, sort of maybe make you a little bearish, like maybe with little furry ears or something. I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm happy to workshop it with you. Maybe we'll
I'd be
talk
like a
off there.
crippled Monchichi.
Yeah, little cute little wheelchair might be funny for the dollars. That could be an accessory.
There you
We
go.
make
You gotta
more
buy that
money.
though. You
You
gotta
can't.
buy
It
it
doesn't
extra.
come with the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And then we sell another doll of your dad to take it everywhere. Done. Solved. Yeah, got you a laugh. All right.
There you go.
Great way to end. Ted, you are the best. I cannot wait to see you in KMS in studio soon. I hold my breath every time Justin carries you up the stairs.
You and me
But
both.
I love you and thank you so much.
Thanks.